They waited in the dark, parked outside a quiet house in Birmingham. One man in a balaclava, one Skorpion submachine gun, and one target. When the car finally pulled into the driveway, the gunman didn't hesitate. Multiple rounds were fired. Windows shattered. The man inside the car thought he'd been shot, but by some miracle, every bullet missed. This is the story of how a 22-year-old gun fanatic helped plan a near-deadly attack using a military-grade weapon, and how police tracked him down using CCV, burner phones, and even images on his own device. If you're into real UK crime stories with deep breakdowns like this one, hit subscribe now and turn on notifications. Sujil Amjad was just 22 years old. No public criminal history, no headlines. But in December 2023, he stepped into one of the most dangerous roles in Birmingham's criminal underworld, a logistics man in a plot involving stolen cars, fake plates, and illegal weapons. On December 3rd, Amjad and a small group of associates travelled to Wolverhampton. What happened next would kick off a chain of violence that could have easily turned deadly. According to investigators, that's where Amjad picked up multiple firearms, including a Skorpion submachine gun. Military grade, 800 rounds per minute, designed for war zones, not front gardens in Birmingham. From Wolverhampton, Amjad and the group returned to Birmingham. The weapons were then handed off to another man, still unnamed, who was driven to an address on Southbourne Avenue in Hodge Hill. That man, armed and masked, opened fire at the front of a house where their intended target was believed to live. But the man wasn't home. A witness saw the gunman flee the scene, get into a white Seat Leon and disappear into the night. You'd think that would be the end of it. It wasn't. Hours later, the target returned home in his car. And the gunman was waiting. This time with the Skorpion. As the car approached, the shooter opened fire again, this time directly at the vehicle. Glass shattered, metal tore. One of the two men inside thought he'd been hit, but somehow neither of them were. Not one bullet landed, but it easily could have, and that's what changed everything. The car was destroyed, the men were traumatized, and two stolen vehicles, the white Seat Leon and a VW Tiguan, were later found torched, dumped and burned out. That's when the real work began. Detectives from West Midlands Police pieced together a complex timeline using CCTV footage, phone tracking data, and even text messages. On Amjad's phone, they found photos. One image showed him holding not one, but two firearms. Another was of a Skorpion, possibly the same one used in the attack. They also found messages arranging false number plates, linking him to both shootings, and the effort to destroy the evidence. Amjad was arrested, charged, and later found guilty of attempted murder in connection with the second shooting. He was also convicted of arson over the destruction of the stolen vehicles. In September 2024, at Birmingham Crown Court, he was sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum term of 20 years. He's now behind bars, but the gunman, the one who pulled the trigger in both shootings, is still missing. Police believe he fled the country and are now working with international partners to track him down. The scariest part? This wasn't gang warfare. This wasn't some turf war over drugs. This was a group of young men with access to military-level firepower, targeting a single house and a single car on a quiet residential street. It could have been anyone's street. It could have been anyone's family. Detective Inspector Francis Knock called the situation incredible that no one was hit. But he also made it clear the gunman meant to kill, and he's still out there. Remember that image, a quiet car pulling into a driveway. A man in a balaclava watching, a Skorpion in hand. What would you do if that was your street? Let me know in the comments. Should attempted murder with military-grade weapons carry harsher minimum sentences? And do you think police will ever catch the second man? This is just one of many real cases showing how the UK's firearms scene is evolving fast and dangerously. If you want more videos like this, where we break down real cases, real weapons, and real investigations, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.